Welcome. Today I want to go over the APBA boards. In particular, we're going to look at the runaround first base board so you can get an idea of the differences between a fielding column one and a fielding column three. That's where the biggest difference lies, although very, very minimal. One thing you have to know about APBA is that it doesn't offer a lot of bells and whistles. It's straightforward. That's why it actually gives fairly good, accurate results because it's foundationally sound based on, fundamental math. And there's not a lot of deviation where it doesn't try to be what it's not. It doesn't try to be too fancy. It's taken from the original national pastime game from the 20s, I believe, and that had really no pitching at all. APBA took that system and adopted it by adding some pitching, and it's a very simple, basic game, great to start out with. Um, Now, the new sets can be rather costly, especially if you're on a fixed income like a lot of us are. Um, if you look to the secondary market, you can find very good deals by people like myself. For example, I'm selling 1968 now for 25 bucks. If you want to buy a new 1968, it would cost you, almost $100. So if you go into the secondary market, you can get good value and you can play those teams from, the past, yesteryear. You're not going to get a lot of brand new teams with the brand new cards at those really discounted rates, but you can find older sets, mostly 70s, 80s. You'll find there's a lot of sets sold during this period of time, and there's a lot of sets floating around out there. And guys with, 10, 20, 30, 40 sets are willing to kind of let a lot of these go, for not all that much money. So that's a good way to get into APBA. And of course, the boards are not easy to, not difficult to come by. You can get them different places, including just asking the guy who's selling you, um, the set, the card season set, if he has extra boards that he wants to. I just recently gave away some boards and a sacrifice booklet. We have to go over the sacrifice booklet, which I think is rather humorous. But let's get down to looking at these APA boards and getting an idea of what exactly you're dealing with when you look at a fielding column one, which is a top tier defensive team, versus a column three, which is a very low end fielding team. Usually, your last place teams are going to be a fielding column three, and your top teams are going to be a fielding column one, and then of course different teams fall somewhere in the middle, which is going to be your fielding column two. So let's look at the numbers 12 to 42. Remember, as of 77, they added the 42. They also added the 14 with an asterisk for the stolen base with the bases empty. So certain players had an asterisk, so they can get on base with the bases empty on a walk, and they would steal second base. Guys who have high stolen base numbers would be able to do that. So those were the two minor changes that came on those boards from 77 to 84. Let's get to it. Okay, so here you have the classic APBA boards. Um, they are fairly large. I would say about 12 by 9, just from looking at them. Right off the top of my head, I don't have uh, a ruler or anything like that, but just they're about that size. And it comes with three columns, right? Your top tier teams are usually going to be column one. Your middle of the road teams are going to be fielding column two, and your low tier teams, the poorer teams in the season that you're playing, will be fielding column three, or your bad baseball teams. So let's go over the numbers. I'm not going to go over 1 to 11 because those are only affected um, by A, B, and C pitchers, and not all the numbers are influenced by the A, B, and C pitchers. It's in field with the bases with runners on first base. That's the board we're looking at right now. Runners on first base. It's only numbers 7, 8, and 9 that are ever affected by the pitchers. So the A pitcher affects 7 and 8, the B pitcher affects 8, and the C pitcher affects 9. That's how simple they kept it. So let's go from left to right, field in column 3. We're going to go over numbers 12 to 42. Number 12 is going to be safe at first with a runner on first. You're going to get a safe at first, runner out, fielder's choice, 4 to 6. W, of course, on the pitcher card will be a walk. Okay, so if you're a fielding column 2 team, that fielder's choice turns into a 5-4-3 double play. So it goes from a ball hit to second base now to a ball hit to third base, and it goes to a round the horn double play with the W base on ball still in effect. Finally, if it's a column fielding 1, the second baseman is going to turn the double play with the W still being in effect. 13 is right across, is all strikeouts. So whenever you see that number 13 on a card, you will know that that's going to be a strikeout. 14, base on balls. That's the same across, regardless of the fielding level, right? 1, 2, or 3. 15, always hit by pitch. Now, just to give you kind of a little fair warning, there's not going to be a lot of changes here. You're going to see some changes, but not a whole lot. So 16, you're going to definitely get changes because 16 to basically 21 are going to be error numbers, if you will. So 16 is usually a center field error number, and 15 can be a left field error number, 16 is a center field error number, and 17 is a right field error number. In this case, all 15s are hit by pitch. 16s in column 3, the outfielder is going to make an error that if the base runner is fast, he can go to third. The base runner on first is fast, he will go to third. With 2 outs, any runner to third. So that's a straight up first on error by the center fielder. 16 in the B column is now a single, and if the runner is fast, there will be an error and he will go to third on the error on center field. Any runner to third with 2 outs, any runner to third, and there's an outfield error on the center fielder. 16 in column 1, you're going to get a straight fly out. So the center fielder is much better, and runners will hold F to second. So there may be a tag up by an F runner, and he will go to second. So all of a sudden, there's a big difference from basically fielding 1 to fielding 3, with the middle, the sandwich part, the meat in the middle, being kind of a combination of the two. Let's go to 17. 17 usually is a hit to right, single to right, runner to second, runner to third, and batter takes second on a fumble, E9. That is your worst fielding team. If your team is average, single to right, runner to third, F scores, batter to second on throw. So no more error. That error has been taken away. And then, of course, if you're 17, fielding column 1, you probably got a great outfielder out there, and he's going to throw out the runner on first, going to third, 9 to 5. So you definitely want to look for to become a fielding column 1 team, right? All right, so we go to the infield now. 18, 19, and 20 and 21 are going to be infield error numbers from left to right. It's the first and second on the shortstop error. 18 is usually a shortstop error. 19 is a third base error. 20 is a second base error. And 21 is a first base error. So 18 says E6, runner goes to third. 8 in fielding column 2, 18 is a runner first on error, runner to third. So there's no real difference there. Both send the runner to third, but 18 with fielding column 1 out at first, runner to second, 6-3. So all of a sudden, your shortstop, who is a 9, right? 9 or a 10 shortstop is going to be a fielding column 1 shortstop, or if you add up all the infielders, or if you add up the totality of all the fielders, there's different ways to do it, of course, and you can read that in the instructions. There's modifications to the defensive mods and so on and so forth. So let's go to the 19, which is usually a third baseman error. So in 19, the single to third, runner to second. So it's a straight out single in 2, right? So that was fielding column 3. In fielding column 2, 19 is a single to third, runner to second. And then in fielding column 1, it's a single to third, runner to second as well. So no big change there. It goes from C, actually all the way across. It's going to be the same single to third, runner to second on 19. On 20, first on error, runner to third. That's in fielding column 3. In fielding column 2, it's going to be first on error, runner to third, same thing. Fielding column 3, out at first, runner to second, 4-3. So the second baseman this time fails to commit the error on fielding column 1. All right. So here goes 21. First and second on error, runner to third, assist shortstop, error first base, F scores. 21 in fielding column 2 is first and second on error, runner to third, shortstop, E, assist shortstop, error first baseman. So F doesn't get a chance to score on the 21 in the fielding 2 column. In the fielding 3 column, it's going to be first and second on error, runner to third, the same as fielding column 2. Assist 6, error first base. Now we get to 22, and that's going to be the same across. Hit by pitch. 23, runner out stealing, left to right, fielding column 3. Runner out stealing and ejected from game. Same thing in the middle. With 2 outs, of course, there's a balk. And finally, 3, runner out stealing, ejected from the game, dispute umpire's decision, 2-6, same thing. So same thing across the board on 23. 24 is a double play across the board. 25 is double play across the board. We're looking at fielding runner on first base board. 26 is a fielder's choice in 3, fielder's choice in B, and fielder's choice in A. 27 is going to be a 5-3 runner to second on fielding column 3 with an X. In fielding column B, it's going to be a fielder's choice. So the third baseman elects to go to second base and gets them. There's still that X strikeout. And 27, which is huge on fielding column 1, is going to be a round the horn double play, 5-4-3 double play. Of course, the X is still in effect. 28 on fielding column 3 is 6-3. Runner advances. 28 in the middle is out at first, runner to second, 6-3, same thing. But in fielding column 1, it's going to be a fielder's choice where the runner is thrown out at second base. 29, so 1-3. And you know what? 29, 1-3, fielding column 3. But in fielding column 2, it's a 1-6 fielder's choice. So you keep that base runner off of second base. Of course, if there are 2 outs, it's just a 1-3. Y is going to be a strikeout in 29. And in fielding column 1, out at first, runner to second, 1-3. So actually, the B has the best result for 29, where you get the fielder's choice. So that's interesting. That changes there. For the first time, A is not getting the advantage, but B is. So 30, 31, and 32 are your fly-out numbers. 30 is, of course, left field. 31 is center field. And 32 is right field. They stay the same. 34 stays the same. A pop-up, 33, excuse me, a high fly to the third baseman. 34, a pop-up to the shortstop with a Y. 35 is a foul out to the catcher and a W for a walk. 36 is a wild pitch. That's the same across the board. 37, pickoff across the board. 38 is a stolen base across the board, except as holes. 39 is runner out stealing, 2-4. 40 is runner out stealing, 2-6. Now there's a little bit of a difference there because 40 on fielding column 3 is out at first, runner to third, 3-1, F to third. So runner to second, but potentially an F goes to third. On 40 in the 2 column, it's safe at first, runner out, fielder's choice, 3-6. And in the 1 column, sometimes I call it the A column, you're going to get runner out stealing. So it's not going to be a ground ball to the first baseman this time. It becomes a ground ball and an out. All right, the next one is 41, which is a double play on 3, a fielder's choice with an error with an injury on B, and a double play with an injury on fielding column 1. Now I'm noticing that fielding column 1 is a double play on yeah, that was 40. Okay, so 41 is going to be a double play, 5-4-3 on fielding column 3. Fielding column 2 is a fielder's choice. So that's another one that so this is interesting because fielding column 3 is better than fielding column 2 in this case. Except the injury, this includes an injury. The injury in fielding column 2 is only 2 games. And it's a fielder's choice. So there's no double play, and the player, the sliding player, is injured 2 games, whereas in 41, the sliding player is injured 4 games. And in column 1, double play, the injured player is missing 3 games. That was 41. 42 is across the board, hit by pitch. And then here it gives you, tells you what happens with 2 are outs. It's the asterisk. Then you have the little cross, indicates a sacrifice. Do not charge batter with a time at bat. Okay. Injuries, the injury table. It tells you assist, put out, error, fielder's choice. On double plays, when there are 2 outs, score the first listed put out only. And then base running symbols explains F and S. There's really only 2 symbols, and then there's the no symbol, right? Then it tells you about pitching symbols, Y, X, Y, and Z, and those create a small variance in the pitcher results. Not a big one, but a small one. And that's about it for the runner on first base Stratomatic board. I hope this gave you a little bit more insight into the board, and also if you watch this video, you'll become a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more familiar. A lot of things don't change from fielding column 3 to fielding column 1. There's about a handful of numbers that you may have to remember, and that's about it. So this is Tony Porter, Cards and Dice TV, with Runner on First Base Board for APBA. Remember to join Universal Baseball Association Facebook group and all its affiliated groups. And like and subscribe my channel. I will see you guys soon. Take care.